signals and markings. The purpose of traffic control devices, whether signs, signals, or markings, is to provide highway users guidelines to behavior and warnings of conditions of increased risk through a uniform system of shapes, symbols, legends, and colors. This uniformity better enables users to predict the actions of other users. Therefore, when any user fails to respond to these devices in the appropriate manner, they and any other users present are exposed to an increased level of risk.
When traffic engineers post limits, they consider such things as visibility, what the road is like, and how much traffic there usually is. From these things, they decide how fast you can safely drive. Their signs are easier to recognize. At least these are. But there are some signs that even experienced drivers occasionally mess up on. Let's see if you know all the signs. These are pretty easy. You probably know the sign in the upper left. It means that the right lane is about to disappear. The one in the upper right means there's a steep hill coming up. The one in the lower left means that the surface gets very slick when it's wet. Maybe you can't quite make out that sign at the bottom right. However, the diamond shape means it's a warning of some kind. That should be enough to put you on your toes. Here are some other signs. The one on the left, shaped like a pennant, is no passing zone. You'll find them posted on the left side of the road. How about the one that is shaped like a little house? You're right if you recognized it as a school zone. The round sign? A railroad crossing ahead. All of these signs are yellow, and yellow means caution. Red tells you when you're not supposed to do something. From left to right, these signs mean no right turn, no U-turn, and do not enter the street. Everyone knows the colors of traffic lights. Some drivers get a little confused, however, when they are in the form of arrows. They shouldn't. The meaning's the same. A green arrow means you can go in the direction it points. Oncoming traffic has been told to stop. A yellow arrow means you can proceed cautiously in the direction shown. There may be other cars. The red arrow means you can't go in the direction it points. This is true even though the traffic light is green. But what if the red arrow is flashing? That's the same as a red flashing traffic light. Stop and make sure the way is clear before going in the direction of the light. No intelligent driver would deliberately cross a busy intersection without first stopping and looking both ways. Yet more experienced drivers are injured at intersections than any other single location. What's the reason? In most cases, it's a matter of taking too much for granted. Too many drivers fail to make a complete stop at stop signs. They simply slow, make a quick check, and go. Here's another thing that drivers take for granted. They treat a green light as some kind of guarantee of safe passage. A driver coming from either the right or the left could run the red light. It happens all the time. It's worth a quick glance left and right at any intersection, green light or not. And don't let the one-way sign fool you. Someone could be coming from the wrong direction. Look both ways. The most critical time is just after the light has turned green. This is when you risk a collision with the driver who tries to sneak through under the yellow light and doesn't quite make it. Don't race into the intersection the instant the light changes. Check both left and right first. Here's another driver who took something for granted. He assumed that because he had a green light, the path would be clear. He forgot that the light was also green for pedestrians, and they have the right-of-way. Always check to the right or left before beginning a turn to make sure there are no pedestrians in the street or about to enter it. Here's one more situation that drivers often take for granted. There are nearly 100,000 railroad crossings without gates or signals in the United States. Whenever you approach a crossing, slow down and look in both directions. That also goes for crossings that have signals. The signals don't always work. After a train passes, wait until you have a clear view well down the track. Drivers have been known to start across just after a train passes, only to be hit by a train coming from the other direction. Take nothing for granted. Whenever you come to a point where someone can cross your path, assume they will. Look both ways before proceeding. There are signs on the pavement, too. What do these double dashed lines mean? You can pass. You can't pass. Reversible lanes.
Some pavement markings are more familiar than others. Double solid yellow lines mean no passing. Double dashed lines mean reversible lanes. Such lanes change the direction of traffic flow and are used by vehicles going one way in the morning and the other way in the evening. When you see these lane markings, look for signs that tell you, 1, which lane or lanes can be used, 2, during what time, and 3, any vehicle restrictions. To help avoid the hazard of head-on collisions, reversible lanes are marked with 1, overhead signs, 2, lane markings, and 3, overhead lights. If the signal light hung over a lane is a green arrow or a green X, the lane is open to traffic facing the signal. If the signal is a yellow X, traffic flowing in the direction of the signal is about to end. If the yellow X is flashing, then that lane is for use by left-turning vehicles only. The lane is closed to vehicles facing a red X signal. And for additional information on roadway signs, signals, and markings, view the films Are You Reading Me? And Getting Safely Past the Orange Barrels. Chapter 8, Lesson 3, Managing Visibility, Time, and Space when Changing Lanes.